your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
Oh, man. Welcome to Political Theater with Dr. Taylor. I hope y'all can hear me. Oh, gosh. How's everybody doing? Oh, boy. Sorry I'm late. I'm actually not sorry I'm late. I have to stop apologizing for living my best life. My son is home, and I'm very excited. He needed his hair done. So I took him to get a haircut today, and I twisted up his hair. So that was taking a little bit longer. But I'm here. I'm here, and I'm so happy. We have a lot to catch up on, folks. How's everybody doing? See you all in the chat. Love to see you all the time. Always let me know where you're at. Let me know where you're coming from. Chat, I am completely sober today. I know it's rare, and that's why I have to announce it because, oh my goodness. I'm trying this new thing now. StreamYard allows you to stream vertical on Instagram. So it's not, I'm not doing the wide thing on Instagram, which is really interesting. I'm going to see how to try. I don't know if I like this, the way this looks. Instagram, if you're there, let me know. If you have moved over to YouTube, that's great because that's where it should be. The Bronx is always in the building. Always in the building. Chantel, always good to see you. Always. We always represent for the Bronx. It's so funny. I was talking to my kid today, and I said something, and it sounded just like a 72-year-old Yiddish woman. I said, oh, the New York popped out. I forgot what I said. I said something. I said it was something like together. And I was like, what the hell? Shout out to everybody in New York. Colorado. Hey, I'm so glad. Should I move it to 8 o'clock normally? Guys, put a 1 in the chat if I should keep it at 7. Put a 2 in the chat if I should move it to 8 p.m. I wonder if I should move that. So, here we are. Philadelphia, my second home. Always. I mean, Philly in the building. Philadelphia twice named me one of the most influential people in the city. So that's, Philly is always, I'm always going to claim Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia to death. Some people saying keep it at 7. I wonder if I should move it to 8. The reason why I think about moving it to 8 is because I always think about my West Coast folks. And I know the international folks. I know I got people in South Africa, and they're like, listen, girl, you got to stand up late. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Dr. Hall in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. He's saying stay at 7 p.m. I imagine, Dr. Hall, that if you want to join, you would have to do it at 7. We know that you're busy. Let's get into stuff today. Y'all, I have a pretty full docket. I wasn't here on Friday. So there's a bunch of things we have to catch up. But before I get into this, it's super, super important to me. One, if you are on social media right now, let people know that we're here. So if you're on Threads, go to my page and share it. Let people know, hey, she's live right now. If you are on Facebook, some folks, I know we do have folks checking in that watch on Facebook. Hey, hit the like button, share it on your feed. Let people know that we're here. We want to make sure that everybody gets to enjoy this. If you are on Instagram, you're able to share lives. So definitely do that. And we're so happy to see you. So my goodness, there's so much that's going on. And one of the things that I was thinking a lot about is the way that Donald Trump has been submitting to Zoran Mamdani. Zoran Mamdani is the mayor-elect of New York City. And they just had a conference. They had a little press conference thing from the Oval Office. And I'm just going to play a couple of clips from it because I just thought, just a couple of examples of how he is pretty much a cuck. And it's okay. For those who don't know what a cuck is, if you're talking about the kinky space, a cuck is short for cuckold. It's a man who submits to another man who is having sex with his wife or his girlfriend or his boyfriend, whatever the situation is. Some women can be cucks, but it's not the same thing because, in a patriarchy, it's okay for a woman to watch another man, to a man have sex with another woman. But in a patriarchy, for a man to sit there and watch another man bang his wife out, they say that you're taking a submissive role, right? Patriarchy is what it is. Maybe you just enjoy having sex with your wife and you like to watch her get her back blown out by other people. Chat, this is, we're at a later hour, so we get to be sexier. Political theater after dark, if you will. A lot of you don't know that side of me. Just fascinating. I got a friend watching. I see you, Dr. O. I see you over there. I know you're watching. You know the deal. All right. So let's watch this clip real quick because what is going on? All right, here we go. The first part.
But that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually, and some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him.
And Mr. Montano.
So Trump is like, oh, gonna like that. I'm gonna like that. I'm like, oh my guy, for real? This is what we're doing now. Hold on. Instagram. Trying to change the thing. I'm playing around a little bit, guys. There we go. That actually works better for Instagram. You can see the video and you can see me. So we'll do that. He's all like, yeah. But then he does some more. Hold on. Let's see. I'll be putting timestamps and stuff. I'm good. I prepare for this.
Issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction, and he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of
totally
apartments built, etc. And we actually
look at how Zoran is looking down at him. Yes,
but I want to see the same thing.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
Gotta turn me on here a little bit. Oh, who knew that Zoran had it in him? We're not going to sexually objectify him, but I'm just saying, something worth considering. Zoran Mamdani might be Zaddy Mamdani, and he's just. All right, wait. Let's go. Let's go to the next one, because this is what I think he goes in full cuck mode. Let's see. Let's get down to here. We're about. Let's see. Let's start around here.
Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights. And I know that still today, those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President,
How quiet Trump gets.
Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused in New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats. I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City. And I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether New Yorkers could afford to live.
By the way, being the mayor of New York City is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I always said, one of the things I would have loved to be someday is the mayor of New York City. Being the mayor of New York, and especially now, because I think you're at really a turning point, one way or the other. It could go great, or it can go in a different direction.
Like, yes, good boy.
I think you really have a chance to make it great.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent president.
They said, does New York City love Trump? New Yorkers love a city that's affordable. I just want to point out that pretty much every time he was asked the question, he redirects away from Trump.
Election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes.
He's like,
I got one more. Go ahead. One or two more.
He had to slide it in.
I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up.
They're eating it up. Look,
I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. this meeting that you people have gone, outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting. The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares, but they did care about this meeting, and it was a great meeting. Go ahead.
So listen, so here's what I want to talk, as you know, it's political theater. That's what I do. Friends, so a couple of things happened there. One, notice their positioning, right? So remember, it's political theater. We analyze, body language and all those things. Zoran Mamdani is standing above Trump the entire time. Now, remember back when they had the whole thing with Elon Musk, when Elon Musk came in and brought his son and things like that, everyone was talking about how, basically Elon was sunning him because Trump is sitting, Elon is standing. That's really not how it's supposed to be. Either they're usually sitting and even, they're usually sitting so they could be in even footing, or they're, standing together. But in this situation, Trump is submitting to Zoran Mamdani, and it's because of what he just said. He said that he always wishes he could be the mayor of New York City. That's his thing, right? We all know Trump is from New York City. And so for him, that's a dream, right? He never wanted to be president. We've talked about this a million times. He's never wanted to be president, but to be president of the city that he was born and raised in, that's always been his thing. And so he admires Zoran for that, regardless of political affiliation. I also want to remind everybody that Trump was for many, many, many years a Democrat before moving to independent, before switching to Republican and running for president for his ego and to boost his Trump brand, which has made a ton of money this second administration, right? But he admires him. And as we know, Trump admires powerful men. We've talked about this before. He admires Putin, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, all of these horrible, horrible dictators, right? But he admires them. He admires the power that they have. And so now Zoran is the president. Zoran actually has the position that he wants. And so he is showing deference for that, right? Because that's what Trump loves. He loves powerful people. And it's really interesting because the internet was talking about this. I just want to show this picture. If you look, right, they're saying that Zoran was wearing this, this kind of deep red, mauve-ish kind of, is that mauve? I would say crimson, maybe, turtleneck. And now they said that Trump is wearing this scarf, and they were trying to say that he's trying to be like Trump. Trying to be like Mamdani. I actually don't think that that's too far-fetched, right? Again, this is someone who admires him. He looks up to him. He was literally looking up to him. And, we've seen the clips online of him giggling, especially when Zoran was asking, they were asking, you called him a fascist or whatever. And Trump is like, you can go ahead and talk about it. I am a fascist. You can talk. Like, what? What is going on? All right, folks, let's keep moving on. I just had to get that off. So as a result of that, right? We have to kind of look at what was going on with MAGA. MAGA is not happy, folks. Let me share my screen real quick. I posted about this on Threads. We'll review it here. Let me make sure. Okay, so everybody can see me on both sides. Guys, so he posted on Truth Social. He said it was a great honor meeting Zoran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York City. And then he says, then you got to look at what some of the people saying. Be careful, Mr. President. The devil often disguises himself as something good or appealing, making it difficult for people to recognize his true nature. This tactic of deception is highlighted in the Bible, where it states that even Satan can appear as an angel of light to mislead others. First of all, Satan was the angel of light. Before he lost his wing, it was Satanel, and he lost his L, because the L represents divinity. I don't know if many people know that. That's why you have Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, all those. The EL represents the divinity of the angels, right? And so they're upset. But this is the thing that trips me out, is that Donald Trump is not religious. He's not a Christian. He don't know nothing about any of this. Remember when they asked him what his favorite Bible verse was? And he couldn't name one because he doesn't have one. And so somebody else, okay? I'm glad it was your great honor to meet a communist pig that will spread through our country like wildfire and destroy it from within, just like the Democrats have been trying to do for the past 20 fucking years. I'm so glad you kissed his ass today. That's not what we voted for. It's not what we voted for. Okay. They're melting down. They're melting down, folks. They were not happy about this. Let's see, we got another one here. Are you kidding me? You are honored to meet a communist who hates white people and the United States? Raise your hand if you're a communist who hates white people. And not me. I'm not saying that. White people in the chat, we love you. For the time that you're here in this chat, you're not really white, so I'm not talking to you, right? Okay. These pictures go against everything I voted for. As a Christian conservative woman, this offends me. Where's President Donald J. Trump? What have you done with him? Now they're saying it's a body double. An honor? Are you fucking kidding me, Mr. President? You have betrayed your base by honoring jihadis. I'm sick over you lately. That's Tracy Powell. Michael says, you're a sellout and a puppet to Israel. All you do is lie and make empty promises you can't keep. Shame on you, Mr. President. Glad you put Israel and communism at the top of your priority list. Chris says, Trump absolutely lost me today. There's zero reason to host Mamdani in the Oval Office. None. He uses the M dash. This wasn't protocol. This was diplomacy. This isn't about diplomacy. This was weakness. This is ChatGPT. You don't congratulate or elevate a man who openly hates everything this country stands for. Borders, police, Israel, the Constitution, basic law and order. Mamdani is trash, and everyone knows it. And yet Trump rolled out the red carpet like it's some kind of honor. Now, they didn't seem to have a problem when Trump had U.S. troops rolling out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin, right? They didn't have a problem with that. Fran said, you look like a fool with that idiot. I thought you stood for something. Richard said, you seriously made a terrible mistake in meeting the jihadists and anti-Semites. The only thing you accomplished, Mr. President, was raising his stature in the SDP and taking away a talking point for a midterm election. You just shot Republicans in the foot when it comes to midterms. I'm using the talking point that the Democrats are socialists. Friends, they're losing their minds. Love to see it. Love to see it. It's delicious. We love it. They're melting down. It was really interesting. So I'm on Truth Social. And, when you pay, you subscribe, all your posts go to the top. And that's what also happens on X. And there's a lot of bots. So anything that Donald Trump posts, those bots come in and they will post these memes and all about how he's great. But you got to keep scrolling because the regular people, the real MAGA, they're lower in the comments. And that's when you start seeing the meltdown. And it's amazing. It said, did anybody say when Jolani came to the Oval Office, the actual, they don't care nothing about jihad. They don't even know what jihad is. They don't even know what jihad is. So they're melting down. They're losing it. Now, listen, friends. The Democrats piss people off. Piss people off. We're going to watch this video real quick. I'm sure you've seen it. But for those who haven't, we're going to watch it. Let's see. Let's watch this.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration
ain't no colored folks
military
and intelligence community
joining
professionals
them on
against
this.
American citizens.
Like us. You all swore an oath.
You ain't gonna get me.
This Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear.
Our laws are clear.
You can refuse illegal orders.
Yes.
You can refuse illegal orders.
Say it again.
You must refuse illegal
One more time.
orders.
No one has to carry out
Emphasize
orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
No, it's not.
Whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force.
Your vigilance is
Whoever
critical.
did the edits on this is great.
We have your back.
Good job.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you. They need you to stand up for our
We
laws.
need you to stand up.
Constitution and who we are as Americans.
Okay, so Trump was upset about this, right? We all know this. Guys, now full stop. You all know I'm no fan of the military. I believe that the United States military, along with the United States government combined, is the largest terrorist organization on the planet. I understand that some of you may be veterans and you get offended by that, but I don't know why you're watching this if you don't already know that I'm firmly against the United States military. It should not exist. And it is a terrorist organization. They have destroyed millions of lives around the world, continue to. It doesn't matter who the president is. Remember my whole video on Obama, please go watch it. It's under my video tab, The Cult of Obama. Does not matter who is the president, right? United States hegemony is maintained by its military force. It's probably the strongest military force in the world. They're all like anti-democracy. They're not fighting for our freedoms. They're not protecting our freedoms. All of that is propaganda. People going over to other countries and destroying lives, indiscriminately bombing families, staging coups, funding Boko Haram through USAID. But anyway, all of that, it's horrible. It's horrible. And people who are participating in it are absolutely 100% complicit in it. I do not care about people saying we didn't have any other options and needed to feed my family. I don't care. You chose to be a part of this terrorist organization, and that's what it is. I may lose you as a fan. That's okay. I have my beliefs and I have my stance on it. You are complicit in the terror and global terrorizing waged by the United States. That said, it's really interesting to see several former service members coming forward and telling people like, hey, you're not supposed to do this, right? And I think that that's really interesting. I think it's an important point right now, because what we do know about the United States military is that they often recruit very young people. If you look at the average age of the people that are enlisted, the young recruits, people going off. My son's graduating class, kind of looking within his class and also just broadly being online, being in the groups, all these people sending their kids to the Marines, the Air Force, the Navy, and all these things like that. That's because they target them. They recruit in poorer and lower income neighborhoods, working class neighborhoods. You do not see military recruitment offices in affluent neighborhoods because they know damn well they're supposed to leave the rich kids alone. They target people whose backs are against the wall. They make them all kinds of promises. We'll give you a GI Bill to cover your college. And then they end up sending them to these for-profit degree mills where their degrees don't count for anything at all. It's a whole racket. It's a whole racket. It's a whole thing. So we understand that for what that is, right? That's the problem. The young people of today cannot read, okay? They can't read, they can't write, and they cannot think critically. Now you want to say, oh, you're talking about millions and millions. No, I'm not talking about all of them. Yes, there are some. My son is actually a pretty good example of one of those kids that can actually read and write and think critically. He's also a musician, very talented young man. He started a band, by the way. Shout out to my kid. But they are exploiting intellectually vulnerable people. And personally, I'm ethically against that, right? You're talking about young people who can barely read. Part of why they go to the military is because they could not get into college. But because here's the thing. This is what I don't like to fucking hear, because I know a little bit about this. If you're so poor that you can't afford college, you generally don't have to pay for college. I want to say that again. If you're so poor that you can't afford college, you generally don't have to pay for college. Why? As you apply to schools that give grants, need-based grants, need-based scholarships. My son has 2 need-based scholarships from his school, right? Actually, I think one of them is because he's majoring in music, but they have the scholarships are there. You come, they're like less than $100,000. We got money for you. You're lower income, maybe your family makes less than $60,000 and it's 4 of you, Pell Grants, all these kinds of things. The poorer you are, the more you can afford to go to school. But see, the problem is that a lot of these people cannot get into, colleges because they have terrible grades and they did not do well. Again, K through 12 is failing our students across the board. We know this. We know this. We see it in the younger Gen Z, even some of the older Gen Z. They cannot think critically. They're constantly in my replies, replying to things that I did not say because they can't read. When you are the most powerful military force in the world and you go and you target those intellectually vulnerable people, that is incredibly exploitative and it is unethical. Okay, that's it. Full stop. Okay, so no, we don't support this bullshit. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you're here, I see you all are here. Please make sure you hit that like button, because if you all smash that like button right now, it amplifies my show, brings it into other people's algorithms, and then we get more people here. Put a 1 in the chat right now if this is the first time you are watching Political Theater with Dr. T. We like to welcome all of our new people. We have folks here that are in the chat that are here every time. Love you. Hold it down, my girl Kia. Always puts a nice message to remind you all for watching the live. Please share it. Please hit that subscribe button. Subscribing to my channel is the easiest free way to support me. When I have more subs, I have better, more increased opportunity for monetization. So if you just hit that subscription button, that'll be great. What you can send here, Dr. T, I noticed in the graduate school from 2018 to 2020, I was the MFA in writing and my peers couldn't read critically. Absolutely. I'm not going to say what I want to say because of the work that I do, but I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. It's hard out here. Hug a professor because they need it. I'm on threads all the time. I see my colleagues, my peers, all lamenting, right? I just saw a woman said, I just graded 45 AI papers. Like it's really, really, really bad. Grade inflation, all that stuff. But even that, even with grade inflation, we got young people graduating with like 2.2 GPAs because they can't read, they can't do math, they can't do anything. And it's not that they need an IEP. They're just not smart. It's the whole country. So like, I don't want anybody taking this like personally or saying that I'm ableist. It's actually the whole country. And so with the military, that's exactly what the military wants, right? Are you connecting the dots? Or I'm trying to, it is very easy to manipulate an uneducated populace. They put this plan in. Everybody talk about Project 2025. The Handbook for Conservative Leadership came out in April of 2023. Y'all just late. But anyway, it's been since Project 1981 when the Heritage Foundations kicked off. They've been trying forever. COVID caused a lot of issues. They started seeing declines in enrollment. We have to fix this. We have to make it so that we have another class to recruit. We have to make sure they're not smart enough to go to college. The Vice President of the United States, who graduated from Yale, said that professors are the enemies and the universities are the enemies. He wasn't supposed to say that out loud, but he did. And so you have these young people they're talking to, they don't want them going to college. They've been attacking all of these colleges. Remember, I think I said this several months ago, but if you were not here, I'll say it again. You look at the schools that they were attacking. Harvard, Columbia, Howard University. Look at these schools. Who got educated at those schools? Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, right? They're making it so that you don't even have the possibility of another Black president. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they know to have a Black president, he had to be a Harvard graduate, right? They probably wouldn't have even accepted Columbia or Penn or anything like that. Shout out to Penn. Shout out to my fellow Quakers at our school that is completely embarrassing, politically embarrassing right now. They want to make sure that no Negro even has a pathway to possibly graduate from Harvard and again try to be the president, right? So, and then Kamala went to Howard. They weren't even thinking about Howard University until she came on the scene, right? And posed a threat. She came this close, literally came this close to being the first woman president from Howard University. Howard University just got R1 status. For those who don't know, go look at the Carnegie. It's research status. This is academia thing. Just so you know, R1 and R2 are very good. Okay. Those are like the highest level of research. Those are the top universities. I see some Howard folks in the chat. They want to get rid of Howard. How dare you Negroes try? Oh, you Howard is the Black Harvard, right? That's what the Martha's Vineyard said. That's what the Black bourgeoisie says. You know what is it? Howard, Hampton, Morehouse, Spelman. What's the other one? Oh gosh, what's the other one? Tuskegee. I know Morgan State is about to be R1 too. Shout out to Morgan State in Baltimore. Shout out to everybody from Baltimore. Baltimore has been doing amazing things. Shout out to the mayor of Baltimore. What's his name? Brandon or something? Okay. Dr. Hall has an R1 PhD. I too have an R1 PhD. Shout out to everybody that has a R1 PhD, or R2 PhD, or whatever you got. Whatever you got, we love it. As long as you don't go to Walden. As long as you don't go to Walden. Don't go to Walden, don't go to Liberty. Don't go to Grand Canyon. Don't go to any of those schools. FAMU is a great school. FAMU, I'm not sure if they fold FAMU into that. I know Southern has the #1 nursing program in the country. They're doing big things down there. So they're coming after the HBCUs. They're seeing what's happening, right? So after they got rid of affirmative action, this wasn't even on the docket, but I'm going to talk about it because you're all here with me. After they after they got rid of affirmative action, thanks to the white man who funded it and used Asians as a proxy to get rid of it, they were like, all right, now we make sure that we're not getting the Negroes in our schools. Now we want to make sure we get rid of their schools. So how can we defund their schools? They tried to get rid of the 1891 scholarship, which is a USDA agricultural scholarship. They tried to strip that away. That provided funding to 19 different schools. They had to put that back. It was like, wait a minute. Again, they were moving too fast and furious with the fascism thing. Remember what I said to y'all? I said, they're stupid about this. They need to ease in. They need to be slow. You need to ease into fascism so people don't even know that the fascism is happening. But because they got rid of DEI, they have some of the stupidest people at the top of the administration. I mean, let's talk about it. That's a great segue because this is all really stupid. So the indictments against Comey and Letitia James, they've been dismissed. Okay, so for those who know, Letitia James is up in New York. And James Comey was former whatever. They were both indicted, stupid things, nothing, whatever. But it got dismissed because the judge found that Donald Trump's appointment for the interim U.S. attorney, Lindsay Halligan, is invalid. It's invalid. Now, if we remember, the reason why he installed her is because none of the other people were willing to take up this Comey case. They was like, my man, we have nothing. We can't do this. We got nada. We can't indict this man. Now, they say you can indict a ham sandwich. They said this ain't a ham sandwich. This is under a ham sandwich. They said we can't do it. They refused. They fired them. And then he gets her. No prosecutorial experience, nothing at all. The girl has no idea. The woman, I should say. The woman has no idea what she is doing. And her appointment is invalid. There were errors with the indictments. I mean, everything, the paperwork, everything, because they don't know what they're doing. You got RFK, dumb as a box of bricks. You got Linda McMahon, dumb as a box of bricks. Kash Patel, dumb as a box of bricks. All these people that are incompetent, inexperienced, etc., that he's put into these positions, which is basically showing us that why diversity, equity, and inclusion are important, because that's how you're able to find the real talent by not discriminating against them based on gender, based on race, based on disability, based on veteran status, based on age, based on all these things. That was what DEI was about. But because the MAGA base, and actually a lot of liberals, because y'all are dumb as shit too, a lot of folks think, oh, DEI is just pick a nigga. No, it's not a token program. It's not a quota program, okay? All DEI has been around since Kennedy. Biden gives it a name, but DEI practices have been around for as long as I've been alive, longer than I've been alive. But again, these people are not smart enough. The average American is not smart enough to know these things. They definitely don't teach it in the school. So people seem to think that DEI is a consequence of COVID. Okay? And so they go and they're like, well, yeah, we got rid of that now. Well, you know what you did? You got rid of all the good talent. You got rid of all the good damn talent. All the people that actually know what they're doing, who just happen to be Black, Latino, Asian, women, queer, trans, all these people, disabled, Muslim, veterans, got rid of all of them. And now the country's falling apart because it's run by a bunch of dumb bastards. So anyway, all right. So yeah, so that happened. So shout out to Letitia James. I remember, shout out to LJ Williams. LJ Williams, one of my favorite people in the world. She is the president of New York State NAACP. She was the president of the Brooklyn NAACP. She takes over for Hazel Dukes. She's up there. She's moving up. She's one to watch. If we're talking about first Black woman president, my money's on LJ Williams. Chad, I said it here. What's today's date? November what? What's today's date? I can't even see on my phone. The 25th, Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. I'm calling LJ Williams as president. Okay, but, or at least the first Black woman mayor of New York. We're getting there. But anyway, she introduced me to Letitia James way back when I think she was running for comptroller or something like that. I forgot what she was running for. We did a whole campaign thing. It was really nice. It was out in Brooklyn, right by the water. I remember meeting her there. I was like, oh, she's such a lovely woman. Shout out to Higher Heights. Shout out to Glenda at Higher Heights, Glenda Carr at Higher Heights for Women. It's both a PAC and, kind of a movement to amplify and support Black women who are running for office. Shout out to them. So you guys got to pay attention. There's people doing the work and they're out there. I'm actually a founding member of Higher Heights, just so you know. So shout out to them. Letitia James, every time they try to come at that woman, don't nothing be sticking. That lady is a boss, okay? She is a boss. She is about that life. Do you see Letitia James talk? I don't understand. They keep trying it, but Trump hates Black women. He hates Black women so much. It's like so deep down in his bones that if I didn't know any better, I would bet that he solicits Black pro-doms to crush his balls. Okay, yeah, it's political theater after dark. Why not? Oh, did you guys see? Did you see? Hold on. We gotta share this because we've been talking about it. All the MAGA accounts are fake. They're fake. Let's watch this real quick. Hold on. Let's expand.
A huge account based a bunch of MAGA accounts on Twitter who claim to love Donald Trump and have voted for him every single time just got exposed for being run by people who are not American and don't live in the United States. Twitter, or X, introduced this new feature where you can see where accounts are based, and MAGA fans aren't happy because, for example, Ivanka News, a huge account based in Nigeria, or MAGA and World, based in East Asia and the Pacific region, or Mary Tills, Texas, based in Russia, MAGA Scope, based in Nigeria. And last but certainly not least, there are many more examples. America First, with a photo of Caroline Leavitt as the profile picture, based in Bangladesh. So many MAGA accounts got exposed for being outside of the United States that Twitter actually removed the feature after 24 hours and didn't give an explanation as to why they did that. But this just goes to show you that some of the most divisive MAGA figures online who are spreading misinformation that is hurting our politics are not even from the United States. They don't even live in the United States and don't have a say in our politics.
Friends. I just want you to see it for what it is, right? And that's what's funny to me because, listen, I want to show you this too. So, okay, so here's my little rant. Because y'all don't listen to Black women. We know this. And the thing is, the reason why you don't listen to Black women is because society has told you that we are the least of the least of the least, right? And if we want to break it down, right, the disabled, low income or no income trans woman is the least of the least of the least, right? But because society has conspired to absolutely hate all of us, and that includes Black men, and that you're taught to hate us too, you don't listen to us. And we're smart. We are smart. No, we are not the most educated demographic in the United States, not even close. That's Asian men. Everybody who can read a chart knows it. But, we are actually pretty smart, and a lot of our intelligence comes from intuition and pattern recognition, right? Because we are the original woman. We are the mothers of the earth. And so we are deeply connected to the world around us and the spirit around us. And so there is something that Black women have. When cultivated and nurtured and supportive, we see things for what they are in ways that other people are not able to see. We are prescient. Dr. Hall put that word in the chat for the people that don't know how to spell it so they can go and look and see what I'm talking about. See, look at the pun. Okay. Anyway, many years ago, over a decade ago, a group of Black women, particularly thinking of Shafika Hudson, rest in peace. If you go to my Patreon and you if you search for Shafika Hudson, I wrote a whole thing about her because, sister, I know you're listening, and I bring you into this space because you were right. I knew you were right. We knew you were right back then. You were right. And all the work that you put in, the world is now seeing it for what it is. Now, over a decade ago, she identified that there were, and all of us, I mean, I don't put myself in these things. I was there, I was helping do it, but it's not about me, right? She created a hashtag called Your Slip is Showing. You can actually go and Google Your Slip is Showing as a hashtag, and you will see plenty of articles explaining what it was. And what she was doing was identifying what we call sock puppet accounts. Okay, these were accounts that were orchestrated to be psyops. Okay, they would come online and they would fake and pretend to be Black women, or they would be pretending to be other things, and they would just come in and they would cause chaos. We trace them back to 4chan and 8chan and all these different like kind of sites where that have since become breeding grounds for school shooters, right? And the incels and all those kinds of things. They would go on their message boards and they would kind of organize and say, we're going to cause chaos today. We're going to go on Twitter and we're going to mess with people and watch them rage out, right? So when we talk about rage bait, we talk about engagement bait. I hate when people talk about that because it's actually like a real thing that these losers were doing. And this is when I knew that we were at the beginning of the end of social media. We're almost there. I think it got held off because TikTok came. And as you all know, I've said it before, I think TikTok is one of the worst things to happen to humanity. And I wish you would all stop using it. But anyway, they would go. So one of the examples was End Father's Day, right? They coordinated an effort to come together and go online and pretend to be Black feminist women. Because at the time, if you were there on Twitter, I would say starting around 2012, because we were all on it since 2008, 2009. But starting around 2012, Black feminist women started gaining traction. And around 2013 is when people realized that if they would attack Black feminist women, right, kind of in this new wave of Black feminism, read my book, and you can read my book, you can read Digital Feminism, Black Digital Feminism, I believe it's Black Digital Feminism, Catherine Knight Steele. You can read Hashtag Feminism. There's a Mickey Kendall's book, Hood Feminism. There's a lot of talk in there about how this was all going. So I would say from about 2013 to about 2016, Black feminist women like myself were dominating social media and dominating the discourse, not just the discourse on social media, but also the activism that was happening. You recall the Ferguson uprising. You recall that it was Black feminist women who created the Black Lives Matter movement, not the hashtag, that was Marcus Anthony Hunter, but they created the movement of Black Lives Matter, right? So there was a lot of fear there of the power that we had. Remember, I landed on the Department of Homeland Security's watch list because I organized a national moment of silence. In 4 days, I got people from 42 states and 5 countries to participate in a simultaneous demonstration against police brutality, the biggest one in the modern history of the United States. Shout out to me, shout out to all the organizers, most of whom were Black feminist women and Black queer people who were about their feminist life. So they came on and they were like, we're going to disrupt this. And so they created this thing called End Father's Day. And they pretended to be Black feminists. And they went on there and they said, we need to end Father's Day because they don't need it, because we're doing all the work and Black women are doing all the work and holding it down. It created so much chaos. That stupid person, Talib Kweli, and he hopped on and was like, oh my God, why are they wanting to see? That's the thing. That's why we don't mess with these Black feminists. And it turned into this whole big thing where actual Black feminist women were being antagonized, okay, for this. We were being harassed. They were trying to dox us, call us every name. Like everything, coordinated efforts, because these chaos agents were using sock puppet accounts to do this. You could actually probably look up End Father's Day and find the history of that. So we called it then. And we said back then, guys, watch out. I didn't even have these wrinkles in my head when we were talking about this. We said, guys, watch out. They're faking over here. They're using bots. They're coordinating. They're doing all these things to create and sow division between all of us and to create chaos. And that was around the time when social media changed from being a fun place where we could get together and just kind of chill and shoot the shit and have, you know, cross-cultural connections, to becoming a place where it was filled with kind of rage and antagonism and hate and all these things like that. I'm telling my friends that, you know, my folks that are on Threads, you guys keep reacting to the bullshit. And I'm like, stop it. You see some shit, block it. Stop engaging. These are coordinated efforts to get you spinning. And so many people kind of fall into that call out culture. And I'm like, y'all have to stop. This is all organized. It is a psyop, okay? And it is a well-funded psyop, okay? We learned about this when we realized on Twitter, if you like deactivate your account more than 30 days, it's gone, it's up for grabs. People were buying defunct accounts, okay? You can buy well, I don't know if you can still do it, but back in the day, you could buy followers and people would be buying defunct accounts. So we're like, listen, we're trying to tell you what's happening. And here we are now in 2025, and now it's being exposed. People acting like it's a whole big new thing. We've been talking about this for well over a decade because it happened to us first. How many times do we have to tell you, because we know you don't read history books, so you don't know these things. You talk about, oh, Eldridge Cleaver was so nice. I know you didn't read that book, because in that book, he brags about raping Black women as practice before he could get to white women. This is how it happens. People practice on Black women. They test their things on Black women first, okay? Gynecology exists because a white man tortured dozens of Black women to test on them first to create an entire field of medicine. This is not new. We are used to it. We're also used to y'all not listening to us and not trusting us. So now here we are, and now here you are realizing like, oh my gosh, they have bot farms. Here, we've been known about this. Look at this. Look at this over here, okay? This is a bot farm. These are click farms. This is exactly how they are set up. Look at this. They set up these servers, okay? These are in places like India, like Nigeria, like Russia, like China, all these different places, all these phones. Look at them. They're set up as bots. They're set up to do this, okay? Like it says, the bot farms are making the metrics useless. This is what they are doing and have been doing for so long. And we've been trying to tell you this. So now that it's exposed that all these MAGA accounts were fake, which it was very clear, like just looking at them, that they were fake. You know, and I hear you when you say it's loser behavior, it is profitable behavior. Okay. When they were talking about Russian intervention into the elections and stuff like that, we were like, we told you this was going to happen. This is what they do. So they come, they sow division and stuff. If you got rid of them, social media would die. That's why Zuck and friends don't do anything about it. That's why Elon Musk ended up having like egg on his face, because he knows that Twitter, which he paid entirely too much for, has zero value, is actually costing him money. He knows that it is largely bots. I think somebody had said it was like 80% bots, okay? That's why he's not going to get rid of it. That's why Zuck does nothing to get rid of it. On Threads, you can report these bots. They don't get rid of them because they need the bots to sustain, okay? They need it to keep going. So you have to stop. You have to pause before you go to reply to something. You guys often see me. I'll post videos of me just blocking some stupid shit. You see something that's just like really stupid, I want you to assume it is a bot. Stop replying to bots, because you're no better than the people who turn ChatGPT into their friends and therapists. I just want you to know that's how you look. I'm just saying. So that's that. Let's keep going. Did you all hear that they said that Trump kind of possibly linked up with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017? I don't know. Let's check it out. Let's see. What just happened here? Okay, here we go. All right. So apparently, Faith Cates, there's an email exchange between Faith Cates and Jeffrey Epstein. She is the founder of Next Model Management. NEXT Model Management. Okay, that's what we're talking about. She has in this email, if you start from the bottom, Sends it to jeevacation@gmail.com. I still can't believe this motherfucker was using a Gmail account and that it's Jeffrey E. Epstein Vacation. Okay. Anyway, Faith Kate's next models. He's like, I hope today is fun for you. She's like, fun. When are you back in NYC? He says, all next week. She says, okay, Dylan will want to see you. I always want to see you. Where are you having Thanksgiving? He says, what is that? EVA. She says, that means Glenn. Check out his red hair. He says, berries, colorful holiday. She says, he's such a snooze. Who else is down there? And he says, David Fizzle, Hanson, Trump. She says, have fun. First of all, okay, I just want to reiterate to everybody, look at how these people are emailing each other. Look at how they're typing. They're stupid. These are like functionally illiterate people. They're not very smart, right? Who types like that? I don't know. It's just me. You could be texting. Why were they emailing each other? I'm trying to, Jeffrey Epstein was a bit of a master. He's like an idiot savant. He's very much a mastermind in that regard. He made sure that these things would be in a trail. He kept documenting. That's why they keep talking about the release of Epstein files. They want the black book. They all this stuff like that. That man made sure he had everything in writing in a way that would exist in perpetuity. Even if somebody tried to wipe his phone or whatever situation is, Gmail ain't going nowhere. That Gmail server ain't going nowhere. So in that regard, he was smart. And he had the communications there. He knew what he was doing. He's a god of war. He knew eventually that it would all come to head, and it did. It did come to head, right? Came to his head when they killed him in jail. Okay. It was like a minute and something missing from the tape, y'all. Yeah, they did it. I got to use the banner. Dr. Hall, you forgot to remind me to put the allegedly banner. That's my fault. That's your fault, actually. What kind of co-host are you? Gmail is better than Hotmail. Yeah, I hear you. He had no fear. And absolutely, you're correct. He had no fear and absolutely wanted a paper trail. 100%. He's an agent. He absolutely was an agent. Absolutely. This man is a god of war. He's negotiating arms deals between the Congo and Israel and Russia and all that. Absolutely. You're correct. Ivanka. We should say Ivanka. Well, because Ivana, I think actually Ivana was pretty smart woman. That's why he killed her too. Can't have conspiracy on an AOL address. You can't do it. Shout out to my friend Patrick, who still uses an AOL address. I will never understand it. He said he's never letting it go. So, okay. So that happened. Trump recently said he doesn't want to extend the Obamacare subsidies. That was a big deal because he's been going, kind of back and forth. He originally was actually looking at it. Now we know that the subsidies expire. When do they expire, folks? I think next month. Somebody said eat shit. Oh, guys. I meant to tell you all. Oh yeah, I can show you. My Facebook has been inundated with white bros who are very upset at me. And so one of them just popped up and I just blocked. Oh, here's one calling me a dumb nigger. So I want you all to go to Facebook real quick. Oh, it called, a numb digger. Okay, I want you to go to Facebook real quick. And I want you to look at this account. And I want you to dig like I dig, because I've been doxing dudes left and right. I'm actually really good at finding your personal information. And I hope that you all know and understand that. I'm very good at finding your personal information. And I have no problem doxing people. Absolutely none whatsoever. So I will call you out. But anyway, he needs help. Let me block him real quick. This is why I don't normally stream to Facebook. But anyway, on Facebook, I made a post. Speaking of which, rest in peace to H. Rap Brown. I want to show you all this video by H. Rap Brown. True revolutionary. They're going to my page. They do this thing where they don't like one thing that I say, so then they go to my page and they go through like every single thing that I post. And they go and that's this thing they do with the laugh react, like I'm supposed to care. Like, who gives a shit? They're so stupid. They don't realize that all of the reactions, all of the comments only boost my engagement. And on the 21st day of every month, Meta cuts me a check. I wish I could get a check from my Threads engagement, but Meta absolutely does pay me every single month from Instagram and from Facebook. And so every time they react and respond to something that I do, I get paid for it, which is why I'm like, all right, whatever you want to do. Like, it's so stupid. But here we go. Let's have a moment. Where's my here we go.
See, Lyndon Johnson, he can always raise an argument about law and order because he never talks about justice. But black people fall for that same argument, and they go around talking about lawbreakers. We did not make the laws in this country. We are neither morally nor legally confined to those laws. Those laws that keep them up keep us down. You got to begin to understand that. For 400 years, he taught you white nationalism, and you left it up. You taught it to your children. You had your children thinking that everything black was bad. Black cows don't give good milk. Black hens don't lay eggs. Black for funerals, white for weddings. That's white nationalism. Santa Claus. A white honky who slides down a black chimney and comes out white. We tend to equate progress with concessions. We can no longer make that mistake. You see, when they gave us that nigger astronaut, you say we were making progress, but I told you they were going to lose him in space. He didn't get that far. You put Adam Clayton Powell in office and you couldn't keep him. What you think they're going to do with Thurgood Marshall when they get tired of him? They gave you Walter Washington of Washington, D.C., and you said we were making progress. That's not progress. See, it's no in-between. You're either free or you're a slave. There's no such thing as second-class citizenship. That's like telling me you can be a little bit pregnant.
Shout out to H. Rap Brown. So he passed away. He was incarcerated in North Carolina. Most people, they convicted him of murder. Most people believe that he did not do this. Like he said, they had been hunting him since his Black Panther days. He was one of the most radical, outspoken Black Panthers. He was very much known for being like, America is violent. America enacts violence on Black people. Black people need to respond with violence. When he became the chair of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, he had them take nonviolent out of the title. Okay, your man was about that life. And J. Edgar Hoover, because of him, J. Edgar Hoover really ramped up the efforts to dismantle the Black Panthers and to infiltrate them. And he is famous for saying that you need to arrest them over and over and over for whatever little thing you can find to the point where they can no longer make bail. So this is what was going on. And H. Rap Brown was, subjected to that. So rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to, hold on, because a lot of people died, guys. A lot of people died. Rest in peace to, let's see. Rest in peace to Jimmy Cliff. Jimmy Cliff, Grammy Award winning reggae icon. Okay. It was in the film The Harder They Fall. It's The Harder They Fall, right? Or The Harder They Come. Oh my God. Guys, I'm old. But that film is credited with exposing the world to reggae music, right? And really helping to popularize it and bring it into the national consciousness before Bob Marley really ascends to this, this peak that he was in. Jimmy Cliff passed away. What happened? I had the Instagram thing that his wife wrote, but it's okay. Rest in peace to Jimmy Cliff. Rest in peace. This one really kind of was sad for me. Viola Fletcher. As a child, Viola Fletcher, 1921, saw her neighborhood in Oklahoma torched by white citizens in what became known as the Tulsa Race Massacre. And a century later, she testified in Congress about the terror that she witnessed. and hoped to, they were trying to fight for reparations. They told her to kick rocks. They said, you niggas ain't getting no reparations. What's done is done. It's over, and get on with it. Because that's how the United States treats Black people, has always treated Black people, and will continue to treat Black people until, as H. Rap Brown said, until we burn it down. He said, Black people built this country, and Black people will burn this country down. So it is what it is. We lost a lot of people. We lost Jelly Bean Johnson. Some of you may not be as familiar with Jelly Bean Johnson. Jelly Bean Johnson is a co-founder of the group The Time. Okay. Morris Day and The Time, you all guys all know, is one of Prince's, one of his affiliate groups. Jelly Bean Johnson produced so many great songs: Mint Condition, Forever in Your Eyes, Black Cat by Janet Jackson. Jelly Bean Johnson was a fantastic, fantastic drummer for The Time, drummer for Prince. He was part of the family, I believe, as well. So shout out to all the Purple Army. And we lost a loved one there. And you're just kind of thinking about, just losing all of these people at the same time, what that does to your spirit, what that does to that. And they've transitioned, I believe, my personal spiritual beliefs, I believe they have transitioned, and they still are with us, but they're just in another realm. I deeply believe that. And they're here to guide us, right? They're here to guide us. My son is getting into the drums, and I can only hope that, he is able to be guided by the spirit of Jelly Bean Johnson. So shout out to that. I kind of don't want to talk about this. So we watched the Democrat video. Donald Trump accused them of sedition, talks about they need to die, all this. I don't need to get into that. I wanted to watch this real quick. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this real quick. I have thoughts.
The U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights. And I know that still today, those are being violated.
So will you do anything to stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu if he visits New York?
I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot from when I first came to office.
So, all right, y'all. What do we think about this? Now, as I said earlier, when I showed the earlier clips, they were, a lot of the questions they were asking, Mamdani would redirect, right? Kind of going back to New Yorkers, and right, and that's a smart move. It is also a rather dismissive move. It's like, in many ways, Mamdani was, like I said, with his hands crossed in front of him like that, he was showing restraint. And I get it. And I get that you have to politic. But I just thought that was a really interesting moment in there. What are you all thinking? I just, he's Trump, even when he's sitting there, Trump is sitting there, he's like, well, he's a little bit out, but he eases off on him so much. He's like, that is like, remember how he was talking to Zelensky, right? Who is a white supremacist? I don't know why people be going up for Zelensky and they're all fucking warmongering white supremacists. I don't understand why you all are doing this. But the way he was talking to him, completely rude, dismissive, all of that stuff. And with Mamdani, he was so laid back as Mamdani is kind of criticizing him and stuff like that. He's kind of like, yeah, maybe. I mean, he's a good guy. And that's what it's giving, but right. Okay. Thank you. And this is what I wanted to get to. I wanted to kind of address this. I understand he wants to put New York first, but that answer about Palestine, it absolutely was. And I've noticed that he's really hiding, I don't want to say he's hiding behind, but he's using the New York thing, the New Yorkers there thing, as a bit of a shield. He's not saying a lot of the things that he used to say. He's saying some. I'm not going to take all of that away, but he's not saying a lot of the things that he used to say because he's able to easily redirect and talk about what New Yorkers want. And I don't know. Something about that was a little bit off. All right. So I'm going to get into the final thing. You know, I like to kind of deep dive into things. And this is something that I just want to share. It doesn't have anything to do with politics, but it is political. Because it involves Black women, right? So it is what it is. Trigger warning, this is going to be talking about violence against a Black woman.
Outrage is spreading across social media tonight after an attack on a Clark Atlanta University student at a shuttle stop was caught on camera. The victim sharing her story on TikTok, and it has now gone viral. 11 Alive's Danielle Nottingham live for us from Atlanta Police Headquarters tonight with the latest on the suspect in the attack. And Danielle, we are learning that he's still in custody right now.
Yes, he is, Jennifer, and the suspect is a 21-year-old Morehouse College student and was not given bond. And this evening, he's waiting for his next court date.
Hello, my name is Caleb Bryant, and I was just attacked outside of my building in Atlanta. I go to Clark Atlanta University.
Kayla Bryant says she's the one in this TikTok video being attacked by a Morehouse College student outside the Legacy at Centennial Apartments last Thursday.
I couldn't breathe, and I was kicking off the walls and stuff to try to gain some sort of balance. And he's telling me he's going to kill me.
Police say the young man she's referring to is 21-year-old Matthew Gonzalez Forrestine. He's charged with aggravated assault and terrorist threats and acts. Bryant said he stepped on her foot as they were getting off a shuttle bus, and she demanded an apology. She says when Forrestine refused, he and his girlfriend started attacking her.
She mushes me on my face.
As you can see in the video, bystanders, including the shuttle bus driver, helped break up the attack. The video instantly went viral with millions of views. Morehouse College's president called the behavior inconsistent with its values and released a statement saying, whether physical, verbal, or written, violence or threats of violence have no place in the Morehouse community, particularly violence against women. As the word of the video spread around the AUC, some students were in shock that it could happen in such a tight-knit community.
It was disappointing, to say the most, just seeing a male doing things like that still in 2025.
So
Clark Atlanta's Public Safety Department is working with Bryant and her family, and the university says that it condemns violence against anyone, especially women. And tonight, Forrestine's next court date is scheduled for December 16th. Live in downtown Atlanta, Danielle Nottingham, 11 Alive News.
Okay. So when I first saw that video, I'm gonna pull it up again. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up again because I want to show you all something. I don't know if you paid attention to. I'm gonna pause. Let me share my screen again. I'm sorry. See, I told you I stage manage my own shit. Sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to do this. Here we go.
All gone viral. 11 Alive's Danielle Nottingham live for us from Atlanta Police Headquarters tonight with the latest on the suspect in the attack. And Danielle, we are learning that he's still in custody right now.
Hold on. Okay, I want to get here.
She's the one in this TikTok.
I want you to pause, and I want you to keep your eyes on the man, the bald-headed man in the gray. Now, I want you all to see this, and I'm going to slow this down, actually, because I think this is important. I'm gonna slow this down. I'm actually gonna turn off the volume too. I want you to watch this. Look at this. Okay, right here. What's he doing? He's standing there. I'm actually gonna go back a little bit because I feel like you need to see this again. I want you to follow what I'm about to say. Okay, right here. You see this man over this woman and you hear her screaming. What's he doing? He's standing there. Casually, still standing there. Still standing there. By now, this man has her up on damn near standing up, okay? Still standing there. Not rushing to help or anything like that. Still standing there, okay? What does he do? He tries to come and break up, stand in between the young woman in the orange and this man who is clearly choking this girl. Clearly choking this girl. He's pulling her away. And this man is still standing here focused on a woman that is at least a good 8 to 10 inches shorter than him. Still has not moved. Still has not moved. Okay? Like, y'all gotta feel me. Hold on. Y'all gotta feel me on this. I said, oh, God damn it. I said that nobody helped her. I had people being like, yes, he did. Yes, he did. He helped. He helped. He came and he helped her. No, sorry. That man stood there and watched as this nigga sat there and did that. And I'm just like, and he's focused on focused on a woman who is significantly smaller than him, instead of the man that is standing right in front of him, choking another young woman who is also significantly smaller than him. Okay? Why am I focused on that? We already know this guy, Matthew, a piece of shit. Very much clearly a piece of shit. And I know they paying full price for him to go to Morehouse because I found his mama's a doctor, Dr. Janelle Nicholas Forrestein. She's a specialist out of Brooklyn. She's board certified. And I'm not going to put her information or what have you. I just know that she is a doctor in Brooklyn. And yeah, all her pages and stuff have been shut down. But it's messed up. Matter of fact, I know that she also got a PPP loan. Okay, let me shut up. So I have so much that I want to say about this whole thing, but people get really upset with me. But I want you to see another part of the video. I had to go find it. Hold on one second. I want you to see something else. We're gonna keep it going because they only show a certain amount, and that's all. They're not really allowed to. Okay, so I want to move forward.
University.
Okay, so hold on.
Let her go. I'm not the one.
Look at this.
What nigga you got? What nigga you got?
He's not doing nothing. He's not doing nothing. It's hard to see because they got this up here. Look how long it's taking.
I should kill you. Let her go. I'm not. I should do it to you, right?
Hold on.
I go to Clark Atlanta University.
Because we're going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It takes him 13 goddamn seconds to go and to help her. That's only when another dude comes up and the other people are now looking.
I should kill you.
Hey,
Let her go. I'm not the one. I'm not the fucking one.
Look at how easy he's taking it on him. Look at this bitch.
You had him on me? Right.
No. Who 12? Who 12? Who 12? Who 12? Who 12? I bet you got it.
They still letting him get close. You notice this, right? Green shirt is still focused on this young woman.
Who 12? Who 12? Who 12? Who 12? I promise you I said the body. Who 12?
For those who don't know, 12 is the police.
Who 12? What do you mean that? What do you mean that? What do you mean that? I promise you I'll get a body today. What do you mean that?
I promise I'll get a body today.
What do you mean that? What do you mean that? What? Friday? Pussy? Friday? Or what? Or what?
Okay.
We have a
so I just want you to know. Oh, I saw what I saw, right? Everybody. Everybody saw what I saw, right? Yeah, the girlfriend is in orange. Everybody saw what I saw, right? This is, and the person just recording, right? Now, somebody said, oh, well, it's good that they recorded because they needed that. 5 seconds of recording, you got enough. Because that's all you really need to see. You actually only need to see the split screen of his arm around her neck. That's all you really need. But instead of intervening to help, people are standing around watching this man choke her. 13 seconds and he could have killed her. He could have pushed the wrong part, could have caused her to choke. Whatever the situation is, he could have killed her. And they're all just standing around watching. And he's doing this in broad daylight, which means this is not the first time he does this. I think I've mentioned this. I may not mention it on this show, but you all know. When men strangle women, that is a passionate thing. It's to silence women, right? When men kill women and they kill them by strangulation, that is deep patriarchal rage. That is deep misogynistic rage. It starts with wanting to shut a woman up, and they just keep going and keep going and keep going. Okay. You could, I hate to say it this way, but you can kill a woman any kind of way. But the choking, there's a deep, passionate, rage-filled investment in choking. Correct. You said men who choke is not their first act of violence. Absolutely. And I'm looking at the other young woman and I'm like, I know for sure that he is violent towards her. But I want you all to look at something else. Hold on. I'm sorry. Morehouse's response. Now, first people thought it was another. So she goes to Clark Atlanta. So for those who don't know, there's a whole like university system down there. They're all kind of connected. Spelman College, Morehouse College, Clark Atlanta University. It's a whole like thing, and it's like it's pretty much it's its own college town within Atlanta. And so pretty much that's what you're going to see over there. You're going to see, young people going to college and all of that great stuff. So that's how it's set up. She goes to Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta is co-ed. Morehouse is single gender for people who identify as men or male. And Spelman is also single gender for those who identify as women or female, right? And they're often, they call it Spell House and all those kinds of things. Morehouse is known for being prestigious, for so-called taking the best of the best. The Morehouse man, you can go look it up. There's a whole lot around the so-called Morehouse man. So this is a thing, right? And these are considered among the top HBCUs that exist. So they found out that the guy goes to Morehouse. And so it's really interesting. I mean, obviously they were able to identify him fast. So Morehouse puts out a statement. I'm about to pull it up. Hold on. I'm scrolling through I post on Threads too much. You guys have to stop me. I don't need to be posting this much. Why am I posting this much? Don't nobody give a damn about what I got to say. Hold on. Here we go. All right. So I can share this with you all if you want to see it for yourself, because I just don't want you guys to always think that I'm lying to you. Yesterday, the college was made aware of a video circulated on social media depicting an off-campus incident involving a Morehouse College student and a Clark Atlanta University student. We want to state unequivocally that the behavior shown is disappointing and completely inconsistent with Morehouse's mission, values, and expectations of its community members. I just kind of want to pause there. And this idea that it's disappointing and not disgusting, right? It's disappointing, right? And I thought that that was a very soft shoe response. You saw one of your Black male students choking nearly the life out of a young woman, threatening to kill her, promising pretty much, saying, hey, call the police. I don't care. Call the police. Where's your man? Because I'm going to get a body today. Like, he's threatening to kill someone. And you call it disappointing. Our campus safety and student services teams responded swiftly to review the matter through our established student conduct processes. We're also working in close partnership with Clark Atlanta University leadership and Atlanta Police Department to fully investigate the situation and to reach a just resolution. While student privacy laws prevent sharing updates, please know that collectively we'll take all necessary steps to address this issue with urgency, fairness, and care for all involved. Care for the dude who was just choking the shit out of a girl. Now, I understand he absolutely deserves due process. We're not saying that he shouldn't have due process. Not at all. But this whole kind of all lives matter and that's because they don't want to be sued. Because they know his mom is a doctor. They know that he comes from money. And I'm not going to get into the shit I really want to say because you niggas can't handle that, right? You don't want to hear what I have to say. Fuck y'all. Most HBCUs are bastions of anti-Blackness and respectability politics. That's the truth. When you research the founding of HBCUs, you'll see many that were started by white people. Some of them were abolitionists. A lot of them were religious, right? Evangelicals. They were started by those people to make sure that Negroes had a place to go to school, right? That's how they presented. Many times it was to make sure that they would stop trying to go to their schools. Okay. And the other times it was to make sure that they were creating good Negroes. Because the collective view of African Americans, regardless of what side of the political spectrum they were on, was that we are second-class citizens, that we're not human beings like white people are, that we just have to accept that we are just different, we're beneath them. But a good white person can come along and help you get right. And that is why a number of HBCUs were founded, to keep us out of their schools, but to also make sure that they could train us to act right. Because we were savages, we were lost, we didn't know what to do. If you recall, although this young woman said that HBCUs came out of the post-Renaissance, which is incredibly stupid, there are over 80 HBCUs were founded in the 1860s and 70s as a part of this reconstructive effort, right? Figure out what to do with them. Let's put them in these schools. Let's let them go to college. And a lot of those early schools were teaching things like trades and skilled work and those kinds of things. Maybe a little bit of liberal arts, but come on. I'm not talking about the ones founded by Black people. I'm not talking about the ones founded by self-loathing Black people. But that is the legacy of many HBCUs. And it exists today in so many ways. Several years ago, Hampton University came under fire for requiring certain hairstyles and not allowing certain hairstyles for students because they deemed them unprofessional, right? A lot of the hairstyles were traditionally African and African American hairstyles. Now, why would a predominantly and historically Black university tell Black students they can't wear cornrows or dreads or things like that, dreadlocks, whatever? Anti-Blackness, right? Cornel West got mad at Howard when Howard got rid of the classics department because niggas was not trying to major in classics anymore at Howard University. Classics, European classics, Aristotle, Plato, all those things. Perhaps that was what we were supposed to be trained in before. But Black folks was like, we don't want to study this shit no more. He got mad at them for getting rid of it. And my mentor, Malafi Asante, wrote a letter to him saying, why aren't you mad that Howard was never teaching the African classics? Why does Howard not teaching about Ptah Imhotep and all of the classic African and Black philosophers from around the world? Because they weren't, right? Many of these schools, I mean, now we have got Dr. Gray Carr, who came out of the same program that I did, and he's down there doing some great work. But there's a lot of individuals that are trying to change things. But do you know that there is not a single historically Black university where you can get a PhD in African American studies? Do you know that Howard is the only one that offers a PhD, and it is in African studies, which we all know is predominantly white dominated? I have to say these things because they are the truth. And a lot of people will be like, well, if you didn't go to a HBCU, you don't get to talk about them. That's funny because the people who went to HBCUs love talking about PWIs. You didn't go to one, so why do you get to talk about that and we don't get to talk about those? And I don't say them to disparage it. My son got into several HBCUs when he was applying to schools. They had no money. And that's the thing. They don't like you bringing up the fact that the schools don't have the money. They don't have the money. They do not have the money. A lot of it is related to them not getting the federal funding that they're supposed to get and having to deal with the fact that they are HBCUs and they're dealing with racist discrimination and things like that. The other part that you ain't supposed to talk about is the fact that they have like, I think, a 36% graduation rate across the board. And a lot of universities rely on alumni for funding. If you ain't got no goddamn alumni, you ain't gonna get no funding, right? And that's part of the issue. So there are people in leadership that are trying to change this. Trust me, Brittany Cooper sent me an email because she got mad at me for posting about Prairie View only having a 14% graduation rate and bringing Matthew Knowles to their campus to do something, whatever. She said I shouldn't post about that the sister there is trying to make some change or whatever. And I understand. I took the post out. I was not trying to disparage the sister. I didn't want her to think that I was coming at her. But the school has a 14% graduation rate, 14% 4-year graduation rate. Why can't we talk about that? We need to talk about what's going on in these schools, right? What are they doing? And as far as the respectability politics and all of that stuff like that, how does that end up affecting the support that they're able to provide for students who might need extra help, right? If they're dropping out of their first semester or they're dropping out of the first year, what is in place to help them? Or is the anti-Blackness getting in the way? Okay. So now you have this young woman, Clark Atlanta student, okay, choked up by a Morehouse man. I don't know her parents. I don't know her family lineage. I haven't dug into that. But I know that he comes from money, like many do. Okay. I'm in a group on Facebook for parents of, Black and brown students or what have you. And the Martha's Vineyard set is alive and kicking in those spaces. They are elitist as hell. They are nasty people. And they flex about paying $60,000 a year for their kid to go to college. Well, we just put the money aside. Okay. Not everybody can do that. So why are you shaming people who are saying, hey, I didn't get any financial aid or any support at all from these schools? That's pretty much why my kid did not go to an HBCU. Same reason that I knew I couldn't go to one. Couldn't afford it, right? And what that does is that sets up this class issue, right? I'm on Reddit. I'm on these different boards. I'm paying attention. This is what I'm doing. I'm nosy. A lot of these young people are feeling ostracized by the Martha's Vineyard set, okay? The Black bourgeoisie has raised these entitled asshole children, and they're going to schools like Morehouse, like Spelman, like Howard, like things like that. And you would think the goddamn paper bag test was back. They are mean to the poorer kids. They make them feel like shit, and they can't fit in. Guys, this is a cultural thing that we have to think about, and it's directly tied into this historic legacy of some of these schools being anti-Black, being about respectability. Last year, or a couple of years ago, the students at Howard were complaining about the mold in their dorm rooms, things like that. Yet, Howard has the money, and I remember, did y'all remember that open letter from the current faculty at Howard who were upset because they had been fighting for increased pay and benefits and things like that. And they were told that there was no money for it, but yet they bring in Coates and Jones and give them multi-million dollars to come in. Jones came in, got her own center that reaches 8 people. Yeah, no, I don't like that lady, but whatever. Her mama white, she don't know no better. But gave her tens of millions of dollars to establish this center. And what is the center producing? But meanwhile, the faculty has been begging for money and stuff like that. So again, we're talking about the respectability here. We're talking about the respectability politics here. And there are a lot of folks, a lot of African Americans that are caught up in this class betrayal. We should have class consciousness. We should have class solidarity. But they want to be white so bad. Just the Black version of it. That's why when I was watching that show Forever, y'all all seem to love it. I was like, this is a fucking terrible show. But anyway, you all seem to love it. But there's a lot of that goes on. And shit is real. That whole Ralph Polo thing with the Oak Bluffs thing. What the fuck is you niggas on? Like, I'm sorry. Whatever. You like it, you love it. I don't love it. I hate it. I hate anytime that Black people act as agents of white supremacy. And so there's a culture there. And I'm looking at this young man and I'm like, I wish I could see a picture of his mama, because I'm like, is she white? You know, he kind of light skinned. But you know, I'm like, is she white? Let me see. Trying to see if I can. She looked like she Black. Oh, she looked like one of them. I'm not gonna show her picture, guys. I'm not doxing his mom. But raising these entitled children who go on and go into spaces like this. He's a Morehouse man, you know, grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth and think he owns and runs the world. And look at what he does. Look at what he does. I'm just saying. No, you're right. You're not even lying. The Black bourgeoisie is one of the biggest ops to the movement. Absolutely. 100%. And you all have heard me say it, right? And the thing is, I'm not a part of the Black bourgeoisie. I never will be. I'm too much of a hood bitch for that. Yes, I have several degrees, including Ivy League ones. I don't give a fuck. But none of that shit matter. Okay? Like, it's not the same. It's not that, like, you know, sometimes people will come at me and they're like, oh, you go to the PW. Nah, I'm Blacker than you'll ever be. And that's real talk. And I don't give a fuck about this whole Black people are not a monolith bullshit. Y'all can shut the hell up. You're using the word incorrectly any goddamn way. I don't care about that. I have an undying love for Black people. I have an undying love for being Black. I ain't out here trying to be anything other than who I am. Okay? I ride hard for Black women and girls. I ride hard for Black trans people. I ride hard for the Black poor, the Black disabled. I will. That is what I'm committed to. You will never see me. You know how in August they all go up there to the thing, and now they complaining, oh, y'all turning Martha's Vineyard into Atlanta. You know who's saying that? Black people. They're looking down on each other. I've shared that clip about the Black people that moved to LA and were establishing themselves, and they were afraid that the Southerners were going to be moving out there and ruining their communities, and, you know, that they don't know how to act and they're backwards and all those things. That shit still happens today. That's why you see all the sisters and all the people that have moved to LA, they complain and they're like, yo, what's up with these LA people? LA Black people are different. Absolutely are. Generations of this. This culture is cultivated and it facilitates this kind of thing. And when the sisters at these schools try to rise up and when they try to speak up, they are silenced. Remember when Spelman stopped, there was this whole fundraiser thing with Nelly and he was doing a tip drill and trying to raise money for his sister. And he blamed Spelman for his sister dying because he couldn't raise the money or whatever the situation is. Mind you, very wealthy man, but he's blaming Spelman because they dared to speak up and say, hey, we're not sure that we want this guy who's sliding credit cards in between people's butt cheeks, kind of, you know, doing this here. Those girls were vilified. Still are to this day, actually. So it is a culture. It's a very patriarchal culture. It is a very capitalist culture. It is very much one that believes that we have to propel the Black man up as the leader and the women and the children follow. And so I'm going to be following this story because I'm very interested in what the outcome is going to be. But it really bothers me that people will say we're not allowed to talk about it. I'm going to talk about your bougie ass anytime I want. You can't beat my ass. So what are you talking about? Come on now. You know, and it's funny when we're engaging on threads and other spaces like this, when I say things like, you know, I'm from the Bronx. I say that for real, because it does represent my worldview. It does represent how I engage the world around me. I'll never forget where I came from. I was born in Queens. Danced around Queens for a little bit. But I always say to people that the Bronx made me. I spent most of my life living in the Bronx, right? So that's where I say that made me. But I never forget where I came from. And unfortunately, a lot of you Negroes forget where you come from. But also a lot of you never came from that. And because of that, you think that you're better than the people who did. We all know that not every Black person has been through struggle. Not every Black person grows up poor. There's all different kinds of experiences that people had. But some of y'all make that your whole goddamn identity, that you're not like them. You know, we're different. We didn't have that experience. And all that whining about, you know, why do you always equate Blackness with struggle? I had white friends. It doesn't make me any less Black. You're whining. Shut the hell up. Nobody cares. Okay? That's why nobody likes you. People didn't complain because you spoke proper English. You don't speak proper English. None of us do. Nobody does, because everybody's stupid in this world. Nobody speaks proper English. So you say people teased you and said you were trying to act white because you were. Because you were. That's why. Because you were. And it's not necessarily your fault. It's the fault of your parents who believe the white man's ice is colder. It's the fault of your parents who moved you away from where they came from because they were embarrassed. It's very much like when you watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and how Uncle Phil was from Alabama and stuff, and he moves his family to Bel-Air and stuff, but he reminds people, like, I'm from the country. You know what I mean? It's very different. Like, there's people that's like, you forget where you came from. The parents forget where they came from. They say, the white man's ice is colder. I'm going to move my kid into these white neighborhoods so I can send them to a better school. I'm going to forget to keep them culturally connected and culturally conscious. Okay. And I'm going to hope that their life is better by being surrounded by whiteness. That is an approach that many, many, many Black people take. Not me. Absolutely the hell not. Because I know that the white people are savages. Not all of you. Like I said, if you're in this chain, you ain't really white. But I know the savagery of white people. And I would never intentionally subject my kid to that. Now, where we move, we go to school. My son's school is predominantly white because of where I live or what have you. But my son is deeply rooted in his cultural conscience. His name is Garvey X. Are y'all kidding me? Like, my son is deeply rooted in his cultural consciousness. So it's not even about that. But a lot of your parents, and you got to take that up with them. Stop taking it up with folks like me who are from the hood. I've never once said that my experience was more authentic Blackness. It's not. But you know what it is? I've had experiences that connect me to more Black people than you, and that's what you're upset about. You're upset that you don't know how to play spades. All them times, who's going to take my Black card? Oh my God, I can't braid hair. I can't play spades. Oh my God, I never liked Martin. Oh my God, like, shut the hell up. Nobody gives a shit but you. And yeah, I had all those cultural experiences. Why? Because my mother loved being Black. Her biracial ass. My mother loved being Black, down to her fucking bones. My mother was a teenager joining up with the Panthers. My mother was a Black feminist. My mother was a Black feminist queer activist. My mother loved being Black. My father loved being Black. I was raised by people that love being Black. I'm sorry you weren't. But guess what? It's not my fault. Not my fault that your parents extracted you from a cultural experience that the rest of us had. It's not my fault that you try to come in and have that experience, but you come with your pretension. You come with a haughtiness. You come thinking that you're better than us. It's not my fault that you get scared because we're talking about things that you don't understand. You not understanding them doesn't mean that we're ostracizing you. It means that's your own insecurity showing. That's your own cultural insecurity showing. I have a very close friend whose parents were like that. Do you know what she did? She made it her business to acculturate herself. She made it her business to study. She's asked me for book recommendations. I'll post things all the time. She's 40 years old. She still reads and educates herself. She wants to learn things. She come, she hang out, we do all that kind of stuff. Ain't never had no issues like that. Because she's not an asshole. A lot of y'all are assholes. And that's why people don't like you. They don't dislike you because you talk white. They don't like you because you're an asshole and you make talking white and not being able to play spades your whole fucking personality. Because you know what? You can go to YouTube and learn how to play spades. It's not a hard game to learn. Maxine, you don't count. You're Haitian. You don't count. You're Haitian. You should know how to play tonk. What's wrong with you? I'm sorry that y'all parents, everybody, all these people in the chat saying that they didn't play spades. I'm sorry your parents did not teach you how to play spades. I'm sorry they culturally neglected you. I think cultural neglect is child abuse. Same way these white people are buying these Black children and raising them up with that dry ass hair. It's on them to learn how to braid their hair. It's on your Black parents to teach you how to play spades. You play dominoes, right? There's a lot of African Americans that don't know how to play dominoes. I just taught my friend the other day. Well, she's actually Jamaican, so what I'm not even talking about. I mean, a lot of people don't know how to play dominoes. I know how to play dominoes. I grew up in the Bronx. What are you talking about? I have these vast cultural experiences, but also I will say part of it is because I grew up in New York, and that's the final point that I want to make about this whole thing. Because I just had to get this off my chest. I do believe that culture contributed to this man's abusive treatment of this young woman. I don't know, I'm laughing or whatever, but it is a reality. We do have issues within our culture. Wait, I'm sorry. Somebody just said, you're an asshole and useless racist piece of shit. Y'all don't own spade. I played in the military, you dumb fuck. Guys. Guys, look at it. Wait, let me get a screenshot. Hold on. Look at a screenshot of me laughing. Oh my gosh. I know his penis is small. I just know it is. But anyway. You know what? I'm sorry. I have sex with people that have big penises. I don't know what it's like to walk around with a small one. I imagine it's something like that. Can you imagine crashing out over spades? He must be a millennial. I'm sorry, that was funny. Because I made a post. I was just like, I don't care. Like, I literally made a post that there's nothing that any of them could say to me. I don't care. They think they can affect me. You can't beat my ass. This guy was like, I like violence. I said, me too. I was about to post a picture of me and my and the guns, but I decided to be nice. I don't want want Meta to give me my money. Y'all, the millennials crashed out on me this week. Oh my gosh. They definitely crashed out on me this week. I was like, y'all are very upset, you whiny babies. Anyway, I'm going to use that screenshot for something. I'm probably going to make it the cover for this particular one. But anyway, y'all, seriously. We got so far off track. It's almost 10 o'clock. I've been here too long. Maybe I do need a drink. Maybe I need to go to the bar. Anyway. Actually, it's funny. It's kind of tied into this millennial thing, right? This whole, while they were crashing out, this whole like, nobody passed us the torch for Thanksgiving and all stuff like that. Kind of skipping over the fact that Gen X currently has the torch and it ain't your turn yet. So sit the hell down and shut up. Like, wait your turn. You will get the turn to do Thanksgiving. Not like you know how to cook anyway. Because your parents helicopter parented and wouldn't let you in the kitchen because they were afraid you would burn your hands. So therefore, you haven't learned anything. When we say things like we're losing recipes, this is actually what we're talking about. I know it's a figure of speech, but it's also literal. You have a lot of younger millennials who don't know how to make a turkey, who don't know how to make macaroni and cheese, who don't know how to make mashed potatoes. They don't know how to do anything. And they're also notorious for flaking on people and not showing up to events. We keep, how many TikToks we gonna see of somebody planning a baby shower and none of their friends showed up? Somebody sitting there complaining, I'm by myself on my birthday. Everybody I invited, nobody showed up. That is such a millennial thing to do. And we're not like that. We're just not. And so it's all kind of tied in. There's a lot of entitlement that people have. There's a lot of, what I also will call the millennials the FOMO generation. And I noticed that because I think you guys came up with FOMO. But anyway, I noticed that among some younger folks, and I would say roughly between those born in about 85 and 95, or 96, that there is this fear of missing out on whatever's happening around you. And part of that is because y'all didn't grow up with kids' tables. Your parents actually let you sit in on adult conversations. They took you everywhere and allowed you to think that you were a lot older than you were, thus robbing you of a childhood of imagination, right? And so many of you are actually trying to reclaim that childhood as you are in your 30s and such like that. And it's not working out well for you because you want to reclaim that in an economy that is absolutely horrible and in a society that is on the brink of collapse. So I feel for you in that regard. However, more of you need to think twice before you speak. I always tell my son, one of the things you ask him, what's something your mama always tells you? He'll probably say second place is first loser. But after that, what does your mama also tell you? You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You're supposed to listen twice as much as you speak. And that is the advice that I will give to my millennial followers. You guys have to start listening twice as much as you speak. You're always ready to pop off at the mouth when you haven't actually heard what's being said. And then you come up against someone like me who does not give a fuck about your feelings. And then your feelings get hurt because I say something to you that your parents, your helicoptering parents, did not prepare you to handle, right? So you don't know how to resolve the conflicts. You don't know how to deal with somebody clapping back at you. You get in your feelings, you get very sensitive, you cry, and you think that the world is against you because the millennial generation, the me millennial generation was raised to believe that the world does revolve around them. As I said, the baby on board sign, that's why we call you the baby on board generation. The baby on board sign debuted in 1984. Okay, that's why I'm not talking about the 40 plus folks. Okay, the baby on board sign debuted in 1984 and became really popular in 1985. So from then on, parents were fed this fear mongering stuff, all those books and all the things an entire industry was created out of scaring parents of millennials born in those years, okay? You probably grew up and your house was spotless, no dust bunnies, because they told you that if your kids get near the dust bunnies, they're going to get sick. No, what they later found out is that if your kids get near the dust bunnies, they'll have fewer allergies. Why do you think so many millennials have all these fucking allergy issues? because your parents didn't expose you to the shit you needed to build an immune system to it, right? That's number one. Then you have the baby on board sign, right? This whole thing is like, be careful. I've got this precious baby. Oh my God. Like, please be careful. Give it. I don't care. I'm a honk anyway. Wake that baby up. Oh, you just got it to sleep? Honk. Wake the fuck up. Nobody cares. I was sitting in the front seat in my father's lap when he was driving, and I'm still here. That's Gen X, right? But the table bumpers, right? The electric things that they would put in, not saying that those aren't good safety tactics, but also your kid is getting a little too close to the outlet. Get your ass back over here. It worked on Gen X. I'm getting too close to the outlet. I got a scissor in my hand. I'm working too close to the outlet. Get your ass back over here. And I stopped. Didn't put the scissor in the outlet. You don't need to put a plug in there. Oh, I bumped my head on the table. Oh my God, I've got a scar. That'll be a great story 40 years from now. Your parents didn't let you experience that. So then when you finally do bump your like shin on the edge of something, it's the pain you've never known before in your life. Parents didn't let you go outside. They organized all your play dates for you, right? They didn't let you explore. And that's what I'm saying. That led to a generation that can't handle when a woman from Gen X tells y'all to shut the fuck up. I mean, they're literally still responding to me. I haven't added, I keep ignoring the responses, or I just let them sit there. They're still mad about this. I ain't never seen nobody from Gen X carry on that much. We don't give a fuck. And the reason we don't give a fuck, right, is because nobody gave a fuck about us. That's why we're Gen X. We're X. Nobody can explain it. We were 7 years old, letting ourselves at home, turning on the stove and cooking a full fucking dinner for ourselves. What? I was like, come at me, bro. You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. Okay? I cross the Horse Harding Expressway every day to go to primary school by myself. You can't tell me nothing. Fuck out of here. Shit. So I just, they are proving my point, and it's whatever. So all of this is tied together in the sense that I just believe that we have to think about culturally how we are raising the next generations, right? And I was very intentional about this with raising my son. My son, you all know, is Gen Z. He's 19 years old. From the name I gave him, right? While you were all naming your kids Jaden, Braden, Caden, Jalen, all of that stupid shit. I naming your kids Jalen like they're biracial. What the hell were y'all thinking? You know that white people start changing their kids' names once too many black people get them right. That's why you hardly meet any young white Britneys anymore, because all the black girls are named Brittany now, right? Black people want to give their kids resume names, so they give them these white names, right? Even though when they go for an interview, people see that they're black and they still don't get the job. But that's what black people were doing, right? Again, going back to the respectability politics, you name your kids all these things. And then the white people say, those names are too black for us. We're going to go to Jackson, spell it Jackson, which is a very Negro way of spelling Jackson. Isn't that funny? Anyway, from the moment I named my son, I named him with intention. I knew who I was going to raise. I named my son Garvey X. I wasn't going to let him be like this kid who put his whole arm around this little girl's neck and choked her and was willing to kill her. He was willing to kill her right there on that corner while everybody was watching. And while it took another man 13 whole seconds to actually begin to do anything. Yes, all the black girls named Ashley. Ashley, Brittany, all these fucking names. You still a nigga. You're still a nigga to them. No matter what your name. Might as well give your kid a name. Bring back the black names. Bring back LaToya. Bring back Latasha. Bring back those names all the names that we added a LA to because of our New Orleans cousin. I mean, I bet you a lot of you don't know that a lot of the law names that we have as African Americans are from our New Orleans cousins who are adding the French flair to the names, right? So while they try to call those names ghetto, it's actually our African American take on those French names, right? I'm just saying, bring those names back. I haven't seen a young Jamal. When was the last time you saw a baby and they named him Jamal? Marquise. What were those names? You know, let's just say, oh, shout out to that. You got a Jamal. We need more Aishas, more Keishas, more Latanyas, more Latoyas. Bring those names back because they're not hiring us anyway. So name your kid what you want. They sit there and throw fucking Yahtzee and lands on the board, and that's what they call their white kids. You name your kid what you want. No, that's a nigga. Yeah. Name your kid something like that. Brittany and Courtney. Yep. White names, you know? And it doesn't help. Right. Anyway, this is getting long, y'all. I appreciate you. 2 hours and I can't do 2 hours regularly, y'all. Okay, if you were here for most of the time, if you enjoyed it, if I made you laugh, if I informed you, if I gave you some stuff, you know, you might want to hit the Cash App, you might want to hit the Venmo, you might want to hit the PayPal support assistant who has been sitting here for 2 hours, distilling some political news, also giving you some humor, giving you some cultural history, all those kinds of things. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit that like button. I appreciate you all very much. Follow me on social media. I'm usually here Tuesdays and Fridays, although I'm thinking of doing this a little bit more often. So we'll see what's up. I appreciate you all. I love you. I love you. I love you with the love of liberation. I love you with the love of freedom. I want you to wake up in the morning. When you go pee for the first time, look in the mirror and say, I know that we will win. And before you go to bed tonight, I want you to think to yourself, I believe that we will win. You got to say it with me. I believe that we will win. That's what we have to hold on to. We can't allow them to take that away from us. It's the hope that carried our ancestors. If you actually pay attention to the lyrics of the Black National Anthem, you'll see that that's what they were talking about. Hope is what carried us. Faith is what carried us. The belief that we will win is what is going to carry us. So I love you with all of that. And I appreciate you all for rocking with me every time you show up for this. We have a good time. We have a great community. I see you all in the chat. I appreciate you so much. Y'all be good and have a great night.